Yo, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Can you believe, guys, we are just one day away from the New York Knicks taking on the Boston Celtics on opening night at Madison Square Garden. It is a perfect opportunity for the New York Knicks to get off to a great start, facing someone that is in your division, in your conference, a team that you could say is a finals contender this upcoming season. They made some big time moves. I'm just excited for New York Knicks basketball, but of course, I want to see competitive. I want to see consistent winning. I want to see certain players form good habits. Jalen Brunson has solidified himself as a good starting point guard in New York, but now the chip on his shoulders are like a little bit gone. Of course, he probably has that turnover replaying in his head over and over, and he wants to make sure that he's never in that situation again, like he was versus Miami in Game 6. He's a worker, and I feel like he's going to have even a better season. I'm not sure how he's going to be statistically, but he's even going to get smarter as a basketball player, and he's already a smart player. So Jalen Brunson's coming in just trying to prove even more. Julius Randle came off of an All-Star year, but he's trying to prove himself in the playoffs. RJ's looking to be more consistent and expand in his role. Quentin Grimes is looking to probably average more points and even be a little more disciplined defensively, even though he's a good defender, and just open up things when it comes to facilitation. You add Dante DiVincenzo, which definitely helps out the culture. A full season of Josh Hart, full season of Isaiah Hartenstein. It's a big year for Quickly. It's the deadline's over. We could only go on to sign Quickly now when it comes to 2024 free agency, and he's going to be a restricted free agent. So if the Knicks want to bring back Quickly, they're going to have to match that deal. They're going to have to match that. So Mitchell Robinson, does he continue to stay disciplined defensively? Does he make his free throws this year? This is a very big season for the New York Knicks. I'm not saying finals are bust, but and obviously the New York Knicks went on to beat the Boston Celtics a few seasons ago on opening night. Crazy opening night. Videos going viral. We had Kemba Walker at the starting point guard position. Evan Fournier went off on opening night, but the Knicks did not make the playoffs that season. But you still want to get off to a good start and carry on some momentum, and you just probably will have tons of confidence if things break right. So the New York Knicks have a 5-3 record versus the Boston Celtics since the 2021 to 22 season, but this is a totally different Boston Celtics group. Marcus Smart traded away, Malcolm Brogdon traded away, Robert Williams traded away. Your main guys are gone from this team. Just think about the departures. You lose Grant Williams, good defensive player, kind of up and down offensively. You lose Malcolm Brogdon, who won Sixth Man of the Year, but he wasn't really present defensively in the playoffs and didn't show up offensively. So you lose both the Williams guys. So Robert Williams, and then you lose Grant Williams. You lose Malcolm Brogdon. You lose Marcus Smart. Those are huge departures from your basketball team. At the time, you're thinking, Marcus Smart is the heart and soul of this team. Did they lose their only mentally tough player that kind of keeps this team sane in a way? Yes, sometimes he's crazy and has irrational confidence, but I feel like you need that guy. But you get Drew Holiday, who, yes, he hasn't been a member of the Celtics. You could say he was a better defender than Marcus Smart last year. Marcus Smart obviously won Defensive Player of the Year, but he didn't look as good defensively as his Defensive Player of the Year. Drew Holiday's one of the best humans. He's one of the best teammates in the league. He's an NBA champion alongside Brook Lopez. Obviously Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton. He came up with the huge steal down the stretch to lob it up to Giannis Antetokounmpo, stripping Devin Booker in the NBA Finals versus the Phoenix Suns. He has hit clutch shots. Yes, his efficiency's been up and down in the playoffs, but he's a proven player in this league that is going to communicate well and make sure that everyone's on the same page, a good two-way player. So you trade for him, you trade for Kristaps Porzingis. When healthy, he's one hell of a player. So on paper, this team looks loaded that we're about to take on Wednesday night. You have Derek White still that came back in a Celtics uniform. So you have Drew Holiday at the 1. You have Derek White at the 2. You're going to be taking on Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and they're going to be playing Kristaps Porzingis at the 5, which means Al Horford is coming off the bench. And even though Al Horford's older and might have lost a step, he could still shoot the heck out of the basketball. But there are some questions about their depth. Sam Hauser could shoot the heck out of the basketball. Payne Pritchard got paid, so he's looking to prove a lot, so that's someone to look out for as well. Jordan Walsh, does he get some minutes as a rookie? Good defensive player. O'Shea Brissett. So there kind of is a question mark with the bench. And if I'm the Knicks, going in with this game plan, the Celtics are going to be shooting tons of threes. You saw it even in the preseason. I know it's the preseason, but just the way their offense is designed, we saw it in the regular season last year. They rely on the three ball a lot. And now with Kristaps Porzingis pick and pop situations, Horford coming off the bench, They're going to be shooting tons of threes. Everyone in their lineup is capable of shooting the basketball, while the Knicks are the opposite. Because the New York Knicks rely on this interior-based defense a little bit, and you have to close out at the perfect time, the New York Knicks are going to have to close out extremely hard. And if the New York Knicks are able to do that, I feel that puts the New York Knicks in a pretty good position to be successful, even though they have tough shot makers. Jason Tatum, good elevation on his jumper. Jaylen Brown. Kristaps Porzingis is 7'3", so that shot's going to kind of be impossible to block outside on the perimeter, and because he has a high set point. Jrue Holiday can shoot the three ball. He could struggle all game and hit big-time shots down the stretch, which we saw versus the New York Knicks last year. But if the New York Knicks are able to be physical with a Porzingis inside, I really feel Mitchell Robinson's going to have to be physical. If there's a switch, Julius Randle's going to have to be physical. And if we deny easy points around the basket and they're adequate, not great from three, that is successful for the New York Knicks on the defense side of the basketball. Because you can't, yes, the three ball is important, but you can't count on that to go down all the time. At some point, you're going to have to be efficient finishing at the basket. They do have guys that can finish at the basket, but they just really rely on the three ball. So physicality is going to be huge. You want to tire out Kristaps Porzingis, and the bench is going to have to step up big time. Quickly, extra motivation. I feel he's going to have a big game coming off the bench. Matchup versus Payne Pritchard. He has a versatile offensive game. Quickly coming off a season last year that he should have won 6th Man of the Year, in my opinion, respect to Malcolm Brogdon. But he's a 3-level scorer, good defensive player. He's going to get up in Pritchard's jersey. Pritchard's going to get his buckets because he could shoot from downtown. But when it comes to physicality, he's going to stop Pritchard from dribble penetrating. I really believe in quickly in that department. He's going to catch Pritchard on his hip when he's working around an Isaiah Hartenstein screen. I do think quickly is going to be amazing in this game. Obviously, he had a game that he started last year versus the Celtics. He was amazing, obviously in a different position here, coming off the bench. But I do think our bench is going to be successful. And the Knicks are just a different built team than the Celtics, that the Celtics are more built to shoot the three ball, as we're more built to finish with physicality inside. And I do think this is a good matchup for Randle. You lose some physicality with Robert Williams. I know there was a lack of him consistently staying healthy, but I want Randle to go at Porzingis in the paint. Yes, Porzingis is 7'3". He's going to get some block shots. He's probably going to block a couple shots on Wednesday from the weak side. But sometimes in drop coverage, sometimes when he's defending the basket, he's in the dunker spot in drop coverage, like backing up. If you hit him with a hesitation, sometimes he could just be lost a little bit and you're able to finish over him. I feel his defense is still decent, but I feel it's kind of dropped off since New York mobility-wise. Again, he's capable of blocking shots because he's 7'3", because he has a long wingspan. But we have seen that guys can finish around Kristaps Porzingis, and if you get your body into him, I feel we're going to have some success around the rim, but obviously we're going to have to balance it out with the three-point shot. But the matchup to look out for is definitely going to be Jalen Brunson versus Jrue Holiday. That matchup's going to be tremendous. Brunson's a 3-level scorer with hesitations, tremendous footwork. He could shoot it from 3 with the sidestep 3. The up and unders, getting to the free throw line. He's a tricky bastard when it comes to scoring the basketball. He's definitely a score-first guard. I do think we're going to need more than just Brunson to step up to win this game, to be completely honest with you guys. But he has shown that he can get buckets versus Jrue Holiday. Yes, we lost last year, and I believe it was at the Garden. Yes, it was, because Brunson was hitting big-time shots down the stretch. He was amazing in that game. Brunson had 44 points in the matchup versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, Holiday wasn't defending him all the time. There's different rotations, but he did show that he could hit very difficult shots out of the post, posting them up, using physicality. And Jrue Holiday is a strong dude in one-on-one situations versus Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler did cook him in the playoffs. I don't understand why they didn't bring help in that series. But I do believe Brunson's going to be able to get his buckets. I'm not saying he's going to drop 44 points, and it is the first game of the season, so there may be a little bit of a level of rust. Wasn't that great when it came to, I forgot a specific preseason game. Obviously, the first one in 6 minutes, he had like 11 points on very good efficiency. But this is the regular season now. I feel Brunson has a totally different attitude and mindset in the regular season. Like, these games count. I'm going out there 110%. I have a lot to prove. People kind of shitting on me when it came to FIBA basketball. I wasn't playing that well. Well, there's another chip on my shoulder. So maybe that adds to Brunson as well. But when it comes to physicality, Brunson he may struggle with Jrue Holiday when it comes to after the basket. Holiday can be an up and down 3-point shooter, but Brunson's going to have to look out for that physicality with Holiday. Holiday's a pretty tall guard. Brunson's 6'1". At least he's labeled that. Jrue Holiday is 6'5". So you have to look out for the step backs of Jrue Holiday at times. He could struggle all the game, but hit threes down the stretch. So when it comes to physicality at the rim, Brunson's a physical dude, but he's not that good of a defender. He's decent at best. We know his offensive game is tremendous, but I want him to read the floor well in this game. And there's going to be certain situations that I really believe we're just going to have to run, that we're going to run. Like, you got to tire out a big guy of Kristaps Porzingis and force an older dude of Al Horford to come in and even be physical with him, even though he is a physical body and has been in the league for a very long time. You got to have like a mind game. Derek White's going to be a tough matchup with Quentin Grimes. Derek White's a good defender and he's capable of shooting the basketball. And they're kind of similar in ways, like Derek White can create his own shot, but they're both not spectacular creators. So that's a good matchup to look out for. Both very solid 3-and-D players. I do think Derek White is more polished at this point in his career. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I don't want to see much of their athleticism. We have to slow them down in transition. Yes, they're both good half-court scorers, but you want to force Jaylen Brown to that left hand a little more than that right hand. You want to force them into very difficult jumpers outside on the perimeter. You don't want them to get easy looks in the inside. You don't want them to stop the clock and get to the free throw line. Physicality is such a huge thing. Finishing at the rim. Quentin Grimes, we're going to have to get him involved early and throughout the game. You can't just have him have three-point shots early on in the game. For 4 quarters of basketball, when he's open, get him opportunities. Have him run off pin downs, allow him to use his facilitation skills. They close out strong on the 3-point line, let him dribble, penetrate, kick it outside of the perimeter to Julius Randle. Randle's open, shoot the threes, but don't fall in love with the 3-ball. I believe this is really a game that Randle should attack, but obviously have a high basketball IQ if nothing's there at the rim, and Porzingis is in a position that he's going to block his shot, kick it outside of the perimeter, and RJ's going to have to knock down a couple 3-balls as well. I'm interested to see RJ's decision-making in transition in the half-court setting of kicking it out. How's that new tweaked mechanics going to look in the regular season? It showed he can get to the free throw line in the preseason, building off of the last couple seasons when it came to year 3 and year 4. Now he's obviously in year 5. But defensively, I'm very interested to see how this team's going to look. I'm very, very fascinated. Very fascinated how Jason Tatum is going to be defended and how Jaylen Brown is going to be defended. I wonder if we're going to be putting Quentin Grimes on a Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. I think they're going to be very fascinating matchups. We won't know until obviously they're out there on the basketball floor. I'm a little worried with RJ and his footwork in this game. Defensively, he's shown that he has games that he struggles versus Boston. He had a solid game the last time we played him, like when Quickly went off, but he's just had very inefficient games, but you could say Robert Williams has been a more consistent defensive presence at the rim compared to a Porzingis physicality-wise, so I'm expecting RJ to finish better at the basket in this game. But Hartenstein's going to have to set hard screens coming off the bench. We're going to have to close out strong. Mitchell Robinson's going to have to really keep up with Porzingis. He struggled with Miles Turner in the pass and pick-and-pop situations. But Hartenstein, he can't be caught flat-footed versus now Horford outside on the perimeter. They move the ball extremely well. I want the Knicks to move the ball well. We're definitely not the Celtics level when it comes to that. But I want most of our points to come in the interior. I want us to shut down that interior as much as possible, close out hard, so they don't get much in the interior and their 3-point shot isn't falling. That's going to be tough, but they have superstar talents on that team, so easier said than done. Again, it is unpredictable what that Celtics bench is going to look like. We don't know if Jordan Walsh is going to play. We don't know if it's going to be O'Shea Brissett. Those are quality defenders. Jordan Walsh is raw offensively, so if you're a Knicks fan, you probably want him to play. But Pritchard, he could shoot the basketball. So there definitely is some pieces coming off that bench, but I would give advantage to us when it comes to the bench, even despite the size, because I like our offense there. DiVincenzo can shoot the 3-ball, but is a good defender. Quickly can score the basketball, but he's a good defender. Hartenstein's he's a solid defender, not crazy athletic. Josh Hart could pick guys' pockets, push the pace in transition, facilitate for us. So I like the balance of offense and defense for our bench. Is Sims going to get some action as well? That's something to look out for, to add some size. But I don't want to see maybe Hartenstein and Sims out there because of the lack of offensive scoring. But overall, I want to see the Knicks finish well, pinch and kick, knock down or open 3-balls. Jalen Brunson, if it's a close game, obviously Brunson should get the shots down the stretch. But if there's guys open, obviously kick out and make the right decisions. But finish well, protect the paint, close outside, hard on the perimeter. We got to communicate very well in this game. I'm very, very fascinated by this game. This is a scary game to look out for. It's very possible that Jaylen Brown goes off against us, and it's going to have to be a situation that if Tatum goes off, we have to make sure no one else does. It's like, let Jason Tatum just beat you. Let Jaylen Brown just beat you. It's going to have to be one of those scenarios. You can't have all their main guys play at a very high level and play to their role. It's going to have to be a physical game, and we're going to have to get in their head mentally. Joe Mazzulla, sometimes he could have trouble not calling timeouts in certain situations. But let me know down below your thoughts. Do you think the New York Knicks win? And peace out, y'all.